the Sons of Behemoth. More giant painting. I wanted to kick off our fantasy night. Well, let me just lower my volume here. But yeah, so we're doing more fantasy AOS painting. Really want to get the rest of this army done. We have a non-GW model that we're proxying in for a Mega Gargant, and still working on the smaller giant, which we were working on last week. Really liking how this is going. We got some more little fine details to get going on him. We're going to get him moving in that forward direction. And as you guys might have remembered, for the Mega Gargant or Sons of Behemoth army that I'm doing, I kind of went a custom route with the army. So there's like a different giants from different parts of the realms, and then I'm representing that by proxying lots of different giants from different companies. This is a Mantic Games model, and then we have the traditional GW giant kit. Yeah, and if people are not familiar with the Mega Gargants in AOS, yeah, it is essentially like there are uber giants that show up, and then all the other giants like band together and make an army. It's pretty cool. I have a fire giant, a frost giant on the army, an undead giant essentially, and then this is just sort of the normal generic giant. But really enjoying how these paints are coming along, and we're just going to keep pushing it. Really want to get into my second Mega Gargant, aka the Mantic Games Giant, which for folks that are Kings of War fans out there, you would find him as actually part of the Goblin army, funny enough. He could be played on the Goblin army. Oh. Sorry to do that on the air, guys, but that has been bothering me all day. So I'm sorry if I just blew out everybody's headphones, but the allergies are kicking up. They are kicking up a notch today. All right, so it's like a salsa. It's very, the world music is either hits or it completely doesn't hit. I'm just gonna get some salsa spicy giants. This music really does not match what I'm doing, but we're gonna go with it. And as always, if you guys find what you're watching awesome and super cool, you can definitely sign up for notifications to know when we're live, and obviously follow us. That is the coolest and best way to know when we're around. And then as always, I always like to give a shout out to Undiscovered Realms, where I get all of these wonderful models from. Not the Kings of War model, but definitely all of the GW models and painting supplies that you guys see. So I wanted to give them a shout out. You can check out a link to them on the About section. They are a sponsor of these videos, so I do appreciate their support and help. You know, I always talk about it. Mostly the help, right? The help that they give is they really just make sure that we have all of this stuff available and ready to review or do. So without their constant help and support, you know, I just wouldn't have a lot of the models that I do in order to share with you guys and have available. So, and obviously wouldn't have all my painting supplies and a lot of the other materials that I get. And I'm in the process of figuring out what I'm going to do, but eventually we're going to have, for all my Lorcana fans out there, I do apologize if that video is not a VOD, but we did do a live video of us unboxing the Lorcana cards. I'm hoping to have more later this week, so we can continue to pull. I was really excited. We did really well, actually. We pulled quite a lot of decent stuff from our packs, but you know, as always with a new card game, and I feel like anytime I start unboxing packs, I get that like urge or that that you know, that itch to like go get more cards. But yeah, this is gonna be bad because Lorcana is like a Disney based game, so that instantly makes it 10 times worse for me as a collector, because I'm a huge Disney fan. Come on. I'm a huge Disney fan, but I'm also a very big what's the word? Huge Disney fan, but I'm also like a big collectible card games guy, so it just sucks that I can't play more collectible card games. But the reality of the why is because in my area, a lot of the card games out there, a lot of the constructive play or play, it fell out of favor in my area. A lot of, you know, with COVID, a lot of people, I feel, you know, sort of stopped playing. A lot of people switched to Arena, and I find that not many people play, as crazy as it sounds, they don't play Standard anymore like for Magic, so the drafting scene kind of dried up here. I don't know if that's like something that you guys have experienced in places that you live, where you maybe had a Magic the Gathering community, and after COVID it sort of like fizzled a little bit. I don't know. But now other stuff like Commander and, you know, some of the other formats are definitely doing better. But yeah, I feel like Standard kind of got usurped by and you know, Magic Arena. A lot of people went there to play. Trying to think what I want to do for the clothing. And I did orange for the hair, so it's like I don't want the pants to have the same color. But I also don't want to repeat too many colors either. So I have to like constantly play this balancing act of like, what do I want to do? I mean, I'm assuming in the pouch these are halflings, so I'm painting them kind of in my more traditional halfling colors, so almost like he took hobbits. It's kind of what I'm thinking of, and I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear from the sculptor. I wonder if they were thinking of the Hobbit when they were making this, because if you think about it, he's got like halflings in a sack, which is very hobbish. Hobbish. I've been making up a lot of words today, I've noticed. But what I was gonna say was it reminds me a lot of The Hobbit, or at least from the book of The Hobbit. So I'm wondering if they did that on purpose to kind of, you know, give that vibe. What do you, as always, I always pose this question to folks that are watching. What are you all working on? Is anybody working on anything really cool on their painting table? Is there anything on the horizon? I know we talked a little bit, actually last night, which we weren't painting any, Alright. I'm already tired. That's bad. Alright, let's see. Did I break the horns on anything? Usually the fingers are the casualties, and I think I have one. Yep. Yeah, usually I'm pretty good at breaking fingers off. But I think for once I didn't break anything. No, nothing broke. Alright. This is the most this is the most unique giant I've ever painted because nothing broke on it when I did that. Except a lonely finger. But yeah, what I was going to say before that happened was the reason I usually bumble my models like that is because I do put too much crap on my painting table. Like, I shouldn't leave all the orcs here and everything, but I don't know, I feel like in streams where people are painting, like, if you guys have access or you can see like older models or other models that somebody has, it gives you an idea of like what else we might be painting down the road or the week. So I try to do stuff like that, but maybe that idea is kind of making my working area a little bit harder to manage, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like seeing all the models? I don't know. Getting some skeleton horde on there. What I also have to do is I definitely have to I said I was going to put some gore on here. I definitely have to do that. I just realized when I looked at it that I didn't paint the top of the bag. Now what's going to make this challenging is that because that green is very fresh, I'm going to have to wait till it dries, but I don't know what I want to do for the cow. I kind of think it would be funny if it's like a milking cow and I put like freehand spots on it. I don't know what you guys think of that, but yeah, I'm always curious what you guys are working on. But yeah, we were talking about last night the new Cities of Sigmar stuff, which, to be fair, I know we were talking about it, and I kind of implied that I hadn't seen a lot of it. That was a misnomer from last night. I did see the announcement for those models. I just didn't realize those were City of Sigmar guys. I'm intrigued by the guy that's writing the like I don't want to say it's a manticore, but I think it is a manticore. But we were talking a little bit about it because what's interesting about Cities of Sigmar is that Cities of Sigmar is like a very cool faction, but what's really interesting about Cities of Sigmar is that they are you know, Cities of Sigmar is basically GW's answer to, in fantasy, you know, they obviously had in Warhammer Fantasy they had just regular humans, and obviously in the world of fantasy, because the lore was different, you know, it was just more so like, oh hey, what's up? They're more so like in Age of Sigmar they were what's the word? So in fantasy everything was like just the regular fantasy. Yeah, they're just here for the regular fantasy ride. So everybody was just you know, the normal kind of what you would expect. They're like, okay, humans are here, and like it's just the regular realm, and in this regular realm there are dwarves, there's all this other stuff. It's a very like Lord of the Rings approach to it. But what Age of Sigmar kind of did, because of course Age of Sigmar, if you guys don't remember the lore from Age of Sigmar, we started getting the idea of realms. So everything was from a different realm, and so that kind of put a little bit of a wrinkle, or not a wrinkle, but a little bit of a issue with people, because since everybody was from different realms, it wasn't that there was just like, you know, in the fantasy folklore or the fantasy setting, which normally, you know, there's just all these creatures, and then humans are just another race that's running around and doing their thing. So in Sigmar, it's like, well, everybody comes from different realms, and that's including things like the Stormcast Eternals. That's, you know, so everybody now is like descending from different realms, and it is this like idea that realms are warring, and that factions from different realms are warring, because they essentially find dimensional rifts that are points to get you to the different planes. So it's like that. That's what the lore of Sigmar was. So for humans, that didn't make a lot of sense, because it's like, well, what realm are humans from? And so when they reworked the lore, that's why they came up with Cities of Sigmar, because they now were like, okay, well, in the realm of Sigmar, there's now these humans here and these different cities. So that's like where all the humans hang out, and then like the Stormcast Eternals being, you know, good protectors, protect those cities, or can like help those people. I think this brush has had it. I've like really knocked the crap out of this brush, so I may have to get another. I may have to do another order of these, because I can't get it to really pit the right way anymore. It's got loose bristles, so I always hate that. But yeah, so that was how the lore worked, is that like, okay, well now they are officially, like, the humans are all at these cities, and Cities of Sigmar was another excuse to have you know, to have the older models back. So it was a way to get the Bretonians back. It was a way to get Jesus, yeah, because this has the bristles that are all messed up. This becomes a liability brush, so I may have to stop using this brush, because what'll happen is now you'll start to get uneven paints with it, and I'm gonna have to just redo everything I paint, and it's so freaking annoying. So I think that's a dead brush, which sucks, because I diligently try to clean all my brushes, but this like still happens, which is really frustrating. But yeah, so that was really the point of Cities of Sigmar, was to give players the ability to bring back all of those old fantasy models that they had, so they could have their dwarves back, their Bretonians back. They can have all of these different people. Now, what has made a big wrinkle for me is that I used to play some of these older factions. I don't have any of my old models anymore, so I don't need them. But they also have devoted their time to making Old World, which is essentially an updated Warhammer Fantasy. So I don't know if they're going to make some of those characters in that. And so it makes me a little hesitant to jump in and buy some of the new Cities of Sigmar stuff, only because I don't know if they're going to make cross-compatible models that can play in both games, since Cities of Sigmar has that, like, a little bit of that idea in it. So it's like it's a tough call. It is a very tough call. Okay, I don't think he has a yeah, he does have a boot on. I was like trying to figure out what exactly was going on here. So he's got his like skimmies, or his like And Biker, thanks for coming and hanging out. I know you said that you're no audio, just hanging out for support. I appreciate it. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Biker's working on drop pods. Or maybe not anymore. I know he finished 2 of them. So that might be enough. So it sounds like he's working on he's working on Marines. I think he's working on Horus Heresy stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Which I need to build my Horus Heresy stuff. That is on my list of things I have to finish. I'm trying to do Thousand Sons Horus Heresy. Which the idea there is I'm trying to do a color scheme of them sort of pre. It's sort of pre the Thousand Sons, so they have the Horus Heresy like red armor, but I'm trying to do ones that are like, it's kind of in that transitional period, so you're having some of the red, but also some of the for folks that don't know the Thousand Sons Space Marines, they have like an Egyptian aesthetic, so I'm trying to lean into that a little bit. So even though Horus Heresy has them just with I'm gonna do some wet mixing. I have to be careful because I went a little over crazy with the orange. This is such a challenging guy to paint. And also, what I don't like is that you'll notice like his molding is really bad. Because these giants are old models. These are old GW kits. They're so old that they actually come with square bases. Because they were sold at the time that Fantasy switched from square to round. So some of these model kits are ridiculously on the older side. So because they were like the last edition of Fantasy, and then they just carried over into but I'd love to know what you guys think. What is your take on the wonderful Gigantes? I'm having a lot of fun painting these guys. I mean, giants are always fun to paint. I mean, the biggest reason why giants are super fun to paint is because I've said it a couple of times. It's like, it's always fun to paint a model where it's the scale is a lot larger, because you get all these like amazingly cool little details. And obviously, like, as a painter, it's so much easier to paint something that's larger. Because when it's larger, obviously you can just really get in there and do some really cool effects. And then I'm going to do some blood red. I said I was going to add some gore to the wall, because I thought it would be interesting to do that. So I'm just doing like so I find that when you do like lines, so you do like pattern lines, now you could do like splatting, or like flicking onto it. Some people like to do their gore as flicking, but what I'm trying to do is create like directional blood. So it looks like he hit something and it kind of splattered on it. Because, like, you know, it's a giant. So if he hits you with, like, something like that, probably going to be a bad day. Now, I'm trying to figure out just mechanically how I want to do something. Because I realize with the stitching, actually, I think I'm going to do this. There's a couple of different ways I would do the stitching normally, but I think I'm going to try something. If I do it with Skeleton Horde, it'll get the stitching, but then also it'll create like what's the word? It'll create like a little like crazy outline, like almost like the almost like it's treated. It's like treated cloth or treated leather. Now I might come in with a white highlight on top of the stitching, but I find that this technique where you do like a dark brown or you do something, it gives it a little bit more life and feel to it, which I kind of like. So you can see how what it did was it now made that brown kind of go into the crevices, and it kind of looks nice. So that Skeleton Horde is actually shining, so it looks like very like crude thread and dirty thread. Because again, if you're gonna have stitching on that, it's probably not going to withstand the test of time very well, especially as this giant is moving around the countryside. So I feel like this is a good, nice antiquing technique. Because what we'll start to do is I'll start to develop a little bit of weathering to try to give it. Yeah, see, this works really well. Yeah, see, and it works really well because we picked a lot of colors in that color family, so it's going to give it a nice, really tie it together nicely. So I'm happy with that. And then we're going to get to the big giant in a minute. But now I feel like we're also not seeing... Biker said he's sexy. I know. He's a sexy gigante. Yeah, he's got that magnetism, right? He's really going for it. And I really, a lot of this color choice, again, for everybody out there who remembers fantasy, I really am just riffing. This is very reminiscent of the like doofy looking giant model that the original fantasy game got. So he just looks... I was going to say, Biker, what do you think of the top-down cam? I kind of switched the cam up. I made it a lot more like top-down versus side. I think this works a lot better because I feel like you guys see what I'm working on much easier, and it stays in focus. We get a better shot. I think this is much better. We're going to be doing a lot of stitching in the next couple of minutes. Was I correct, Biker, that you're working on drop pods? I think I'm right. or just in general, like your Horus Heresy stuff? I think that's the next thing that you moved on to, right? That's I like how Biker said, I'm only here for support, no audio, and I'm making him answer questions. I mean, I know he can't jump on mic, but yeah, this skeleton horn, just doing the brown, I think really brings together a lot of the seams. I'm gonna have to work on, you know, bringing some other shadowing to this, but I do feel like getting the getting that skeleton horde, that brown in there, is really like popping those seam shots. Like I said, may do some dry brushing just to do a lighter color on top of them, but I think this really does fit the bill a little bit. So I think it's doing a great job. It's also inadvertently it's acting like a stain for the seam, so I think that that's also helping. I could have done that with null oil also, but I don't know. Sometimes I find that if you do a wash, so the fact that these colors that I used on the clothing are so similar in color to the brown, I think it works a little bit better. And you guys are probably wondering why I didn't go tight in the seam. Well, this is part of why, because now by doing it that way, you guys can see how nice detailed that seam is, and I don't have to go back in and really paint it. Like it's already like done, and we're getting that nice defined line in there. And this is all just a wash technique. It's a wash technique, but I'm using paint to make the technique, but it's the same concept as a wash. But yeah, besides Biker, anybody else out there, what are you working on? I mean, Biker can answer too, but I know Biker specifically said that he might not be able to be as vocal. And actually, while we're at it, I'm just gonna pop into my general voice channel for Discord. So if anybody wants to hop on there and talk, they can. But I know a lot of my some of my regular vocal folks, or folks that like jumping onto the Discord chat, I think most of them are in the middle of doing something, so they may not be able to grace us with their presence. Which there is nothing wrong with that. I'm going to try my best to go as long as we can tonight. I know these streams have been a little bit have been a little less on time, but the reason behind the why is that similar to Biker, who I know has a fam, and other folks, me as well. Some of my commitments have kept me away from being able to start on our normal time, so I do apologize that we've been starting these videos later. Hopefully that has not been too confusing, and most people have been able to still come and check it out. But But you know, I do want to be on a little bit more. It's just that it has just been a tough week to commit to that because there's been some long days there. But in fact, if you happen to be watching when we did the Lorcana unboxing for that game, you would have witnessed and met one of my family members because they scared the living crap out of me on that stream. Which I don't know if Biker can relate to that, but I've had that happen to me a couple of times when I've been live. You know, because we're so I know I am guilty of this, but obviously when I'm painting, I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing, and then obviously I'm just gonna put a little bit first, like to make dirty shadows, because I don't want him to feel like he's squeaky clean. He's a giant going around the countryside, so he should have like tattered and scaled clothes and dirty clothes. Like it shouldn't be nice, crisp, clean black shadows. There really should be some wear and tear on here. But yeah, so if you were watching that stream, you got to see me kind of get properly scared, because I know for myself, when I am painting or I'm working on something creatively, I am like beside myself with concentration. So I'm really in it. I'm concentrating. I'm looking at what I'm painting. And someone in my family snuck up behind me. They like legitimately came up behind me to just ask me a question. I guess they didn't know I was live or didn't realize I was live, and I properly jumped. It was so crazy. I jumped, I screamed, and lo and behold, it was my child behind me, and of course they were laughing their head off, as I would expect any child would do, because it was funny, because they had scared me. So yeah. So those types of commitments have definitely kept me from being able to start at our regular start times. So for anybody coming in and tuning into us this week, I do want to just give a proper apology to everybody that it's all over the place. So you might be like, all right, cool, he's been so good and he's gonna start at this time, and then we don't, and I'm like, damn it. So that's happened quite a bit, because also I'm just I am a little on the rundown side and tired, so yeah, my day gig is definitely taking up a lot of time this week, so as I feel most people out there would say. Which does suck, because obviously, like any other painter out there, I want to definitely get out there and be doing things. Oh man, it's crazy. I'm only at 40 minutes and I'm already feeling drained, and that's not good. That's why I really want to double down on doing some weekend stuff things. All right, so I did orange. Yeah, I can't make him orange. Do I want to go for the milking cow and make the spots? I mean, I could do that. It's kind of a cool idea. So maybe I'll do apothecary white, give it a grayish tone, and then I can do some freehand spots on it, which would be kind of cool. It could just be a gray cow. My brain was thinking to do a blue ox or a blue cow, Paul Bunyan's bull. But it's not a bull. Actually, is it a bull? Am I like totally... Oh, it is a bull. So I could have done the blue. I could have done that if I wanted. But let's do Apothecary White. I think that's a good fit for this. And then maybe we'll do the... But like I said, for anybody else out there watching, what are you working on? What's Oh, in fact, I think this is a milking cow. It has udders. Wait, but it has horns. Oh, I don't think that's accurate. You can't have both, right? It's not. Am I like losing my mind with like the way cows and bulls are? Isn't? I was always under the impression that if it was a bull, bulls had horns and not udders, right? Or I guess they all could have udders. I don't know. I'm so confused now. I've confused myself just by talking about it. That's funny. Who out there can tell me the difference between if I'm like insane in my thinking that a bull and a cow can't have those same items. Sorry, I didn't mean to give everybody like whiplash from the spinning. I'm just like, sometimes when you have like a certain part of your model, I find when things are spun or turned in a certain way, it can sometimes be confusing as to what actually is one or the other. So gotta let that dry. I'm gonna let that dry, and I think I'm gonna move over to our other big giant, and we'll start moving things. So this is the Kings of War Mantic Games giant. If you're looking for a giant model, I highly recommend this model. It's so good. The one thing I did add is this base. This base is not what comes with it. It comes with normally just a like. Do I have it? It's just like a laser cut piece of board, because they do square bases in Kings of War, and they're a little bit more regiment based, very much like the old fantasy game was. But this is what I'm going to proxy as my second Mega Gargant. I have the Gatecrasher one, and I figured he could be any of the other Gargants that I might want to play. But I don't know. I'm sort of digging. I want to go a little wacky with this and like make him unique from my other Gargant. And I think the way I'm going to do that. Let's see what this magenta looks like. I'm really curious about this magenta. Let's see. Let's see if I'm crazy for doing this. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is not primed. Because usually, so you see how it kind of sucked up the paint? Whenever you see the paint suck up like that, it usually means that you're painting a resin model, which this is. And usually what that means is that this was not, the prime didn't go well on this. Now, sometimes, I mean, I actually did prime this, right? Yeah, I did, because I can see the marks. So sometimes you got to go with a heavier prime. But I think this is going to, yeah, I think I can push it and get it to work. But this is definitely the color I was looking for. Yeah, I want to do something fun for this giant. for the paint job. I want to make it a little bit more zany than I normally do. Yeah, so what's going to happen is I have to go over it with a couple of coats. But it will eventually just like stick with the model. So you can see it's staying there. I just have to put a lot more paint to make it work. Now, this could also be because I'm using the contrast paints. I've noticed that that's, you know, I've talked about this before, but obviously when you use any kind of Insta paint, whether it's GW's Contrast or other companies, sometimes when you put it on a model that wasn't intended, or, you know, was older and it wasn't designed for contrast, I have seen this phenomenon and effect happen where it sort of doesn't take the paint as well. But as you can see, it does eventually go into it. Basically, it's absorbing the water out of the paint. That's what it's doing. So once I oversaturate that enough, then now if I feel like it's really, really not adhering, then the course of action I would go for, which I actually am feeling like it's not adhering very well, is I may have to consider either repriming, or I may have to just go in with white and like hand prime it. Because if I keep going back and I keep getting like this phenomenon where it keeps like sucking the paint up, then I may have to go for a different course of action. But what I find is if you just kind of overload it, it usually will be fine. But yeah, if I keep coming back and I keep seeing pieces of it that are just like, yeah, so see how like under here, it just doesn't seem to take the paint very well. Then what I'm going to have to do is probably go in there with just a white, Cortex white, or another white. And I'm going to have to like redo it. Yeah. I will say, I think I did prime this with the Gray Seer primer, and that I love that primer, but it can be a mistake at times. So yeah, you'll see here what's going to happen. So if I just go in with this in areas that I don't think were and you'll see even when I do the Cortex white, even that is still, you know, even that is not adhering well. Now I usually water the white down, and the purpose of doing that is just so I don't overload it, because if you come back in and start painting with a white, you know, if you're too heavy-handed, you could lose your details. So you want to be very careful. But like I said, the other thing you could do is just like go for you know, you might want to just go for a reprime. One of the things also is that I always tell people, remember when you're using resin models, in particular, get in the habit of washing your resin models. So give them a little like what is it, like a soap bath, because you'll have chemicals in treatment on here, and sometimes that treatment, which will cause the phenomenon that we're seeing now, where it's it's like not giving me a good full surface to paint on. If you're having that issue, then you may want to consider repriming. But as you can see, if you just put a lot of the contrast paint on there, then you can kind of get through that. So, but yeah, it's tricky because primer is always a tricky thing to work with, because also you don't want to over prime where you take away the details. So yeah, we're gonna play this by ear, but I may have to keep fiddling and playing with different stuff, because I'm noticing, like, I don't think any, yeah, I was about to say, I don't think any of this face is primed. So I don't really understand what I did. So did I not prime this at all? I'm getting this feeling like I didn't prime it, but I see, or maybe it's just lightly primed and it just didn't treat well. I don't know. It's just super weird. Alright, so I may have to... Or maybe because I primed it a while ago, it kind of created a seal. I don't know. But it definitely, like, has in a way resealed the model, which is kind of weird. It's like not taking any paint. But yeah, so this is why you need to prime something. Yeah, this is just, it's not taking any of the paint. It's like, it's just like taking all the water out of it. So let's just see something. There we go. Okay, it's more paint than it is water. But it's still coming in very watery, I'm noticing. What does it say? Even though this is very, very crude, even though it's like not the great, yeah, it's just weird. So that means maybe when I primed it, it just didn't take the primer at all. That's crazy. I mean, that's where it gets tricky, because even with like proper, oh, this is just a nightmare of problems. Okay, I may have to wait till that dries a little bit. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna probably have to do that white all over the place. It's just so weird. Okay. Oh well. Yeah, everything is just so wet on the model right now. I may have to do the white and then because it's grabbing the white that I put on there, and it's just like doing a blend or a mix, which I don't want. mean, I don't care if it does a little bit of a mix with the white, because it's actually going to create a good base color, and then I can always go back over it with this. And it's hair, so I don't mind if it has some variation to it. That's okay. But you can see the difference when you have the undertone or the underpaint versus when you don't. Because when you have the underpaint, you get a much different result. So I'm just trying to get this little bit of just get the hair, and then obviously I have to do some changes here, but it looks really good. It does look like I'm gonna have to go like essentially over a good chunk of this model to sort of gotta reprime it. But this is usually what I like to do. So if you just take a brush and you want to just like go through and just like spread it on like I'm doing now, and just, you know, you just want to get a light coat of it so it dries, and then you have a good base for the paint to stick to. But because like I was saying, it just seems like, I guess the spray paint, maybe it only did part of it or whatever, but I can already tell it's going to be an uphill battle to get all this fur painted and everything else. I want to use all of this because this is not it's bad white, but I made a faux pas. I mixed a little bit of color into the white, which I didn't mean to do. So now I'm just trying to get it out of the paint pod. I know, he's such a big giant, right? Now, again, this is not a GW model. This is a Kings of War model. But obviously it could be proxied. A lot of the Kings of War stuff makes great proxies for Age of Sigmar stuff. Yeah, I just want to, again, just looking to get that white in there as a good base. What does it say, Biker? If you're able to respond, what do you think of this giant model? Pretty epic, right? I know this is not the most like entertaining thing to watch, a guy just like sort of brush priming something, but it is an important thing to think about when you're doing a model, because if you do have priming issues, you may have to do what I'm doing now. You may have to go back and do some hand priming. It's also good to do this. This could be a good way if you have like a very specific painting scheme. This could be a good way to do that. Now, what you want to avoid doing is what I just did. Now, also because the priming on this model was not the greatest. Another thing that may start to happen is I may start to have some problems with other parts of the model when I'm trying to do stuff. And I'm starting to have one of those problems right now, I think, but we'll see. Although now it seems to be working out a little bit better. But yeah, I should mention, like, if you're doing this right, it shouldn't take too much to get something to start being, like, loosely primed. You just want to, like we were talking about, just coat it in your prime color, whatever that may be, and just let it dry, and then you can just throw it on there. And again, if you're like me and you're using contrast or Instapaint kind of stuff, you don't have to be too crazy. Like, as long as you have a moderate white base, like, you should be able to get the same result that I'm getting now. It's gonna be so annoying, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of hand priming because it's too late now. I started painting it. Traditionally, if I was having this issue, just like, why is there paint on the side of my brush? If I was having this issue normally, I would have probably reprimed. I would have done like a couple of test paints. The fact that I would have saw that evaporating of the paint, I probably would have just went right for a reprime. But because I'm already painting it and I just want to like have it be the best it can be, I'm just gonna go for the detail and do that. Because I feel like lately, and I've made this comment a few times, because where I live, we're having a lot of temperature variation. I'm afraid to do like traditional priming, only because I feel like I'm getting too much variation when I try to prime outside. Again, at least for me. What I really need to do is I need to invest in maybe like a spray booth or some area so I could just do it indoors and then I don't have to worry about the I'm just trying to get like where I want to go with something so that I can, because like I was saying, you don't want to cover up the detail. Basically, if I have anything extra on my brush, I'm just like picking another area and just throwing a little bit of white tint on it. But like I said, I do apologize to everybody watching that this is not like the most gripping video on painting, but you know, sometimes the things we're doing now are really important because they're going to set the stage for like the structure and what we need to do. I'm just trying to get all of this going. And again, for anybody that's just joining us, I do painting 4 times a week, at least, although we're going to try to start ramping up. So I literally am doing, I want to try to do a video, you know, once a day, but it may not always be painting. It might be a combination of other stuff too. This is so annoying. No, I just saw somebody pop up. Yeah. This may or may not work out. We're going to see how this goes. This is Gilliman that I'm applying now. I could already see one issue with Gilliman, but let's see if I can work with it and see. I gotta wait until this whole thing dries, but I think this model is going to be one of those models I'm going to have to do a couple of little like internal tricks to in order to get. But so far I like the direction I'm going. But I think I'm going to have to literally hand prime the whole thing because I don't know. Just want to see what it's starting to look like with the color. And you can see how much darker it is when you don't have the white under it. I'm just trying to see. So pretty much this all, it's probably all going to need to have the white under it, which is very annoying. That's super, super annoying. I mean, I don't think there's a way. I mean, actually, it's not true. If I were to put like painter's tape or like masking tape on the top part of this, then I can probably get away with it, but so all I'm doing now is I'm just trying to bulk out, you know, get all of this white on the model so I can reality is, I'm so sorry, guys. I feel like I'm doing this to everybody all the time. I'm like, we can't go any further. I really want to do longer streams, but I have to get up so early these days. It'll change after this week, but this week is just kicking my butt. And again, my goal here is to just do my goal is just to get like the white in there so I can start to get the tunic. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're doing the giant behemoths, Sons of Behemoth from AOS. As you can see, I'm using some Mantic models in this army. It's a custom giant army, so all the giants are actually from different realms or different backgrounds. So I have different models to represent each of the giants in the list. I think I'm going to use Griffin Charger Gray for the coat or the pelt, and then I'll do some other colors in there. We're going to use this as just, oh Jesus, we're just going to use this as our base. But as always, what are you guys working on? You know, what's on your painting table at home? What AOS factions are you jonesing for? Are you trying to get into a different one? Are you trying to... Do most of you out there play a lot of AOS? So you guys probably are noticing I'm getting like a gray. That's because the white I put down is not really like... Well, maybe not. Maybe it actually is like doing fine. I thought it was reacting to white. But it is... I mean, I am painting with Griffin Charger Gray, so... It should give us a more grayer feel. Just gonna check. I know. Because last night I was seeing comments in one area, but I wasn't seeing them in another area, so... Said this before. Oh, we lost our viewer. So we're just doing the pelts now. I think even this music is starting to put me to sleep. But you guys can see when you get the brush primer on there, that's why I like lathering it up with the white, because as you guys can see, there's a lot of what we call So what's actually happening, I don't know if you guys can check it out, but it's essentially doing mixing, which honestly is okay because it'll just give him a lighter skin tone, which I'm totally down for. I know he looks clownish. There is a thought of why I wanted to do it that way, but you guys will see what I'm going for once I finish him up. You guys will see now that I got this wonderful base coat going, he's gonna come together a lot faster. But so far I'm pleased with what we've gotten. That's pretty good. So let's see. I'm telling you, tempting fate every time this falls. I'm like desperately getting tired, I can tell. And it keeps falling on things like my custom orc guys. Really don't want to have to put them back together anymore. I'm just like taking a look. Alright, this is looking good. I'm liking how this is coming out. But like a great example is like up here. So I'm gonna have to do something similar where I'm gonna have to put, if you guys look, I'm gonna have to do what I did to the other giant on top because it's got a weird texture to it. I don't know why it did that. In fact, let's just do that right now. I don't want to mess up too much of what I did, but I'm just want to make this look better because like right now it's just so gray. I don't know why he's like so super gray, so I'm just gonna like do some quick like fix of priming. I mean, everywhere else I liked the way that the skin tone came. It's just right there I don't. So I'm going to let that dry. This looks like a recipe for me to kick that over. try some. Finally, my Mega Gargan's getting some color on him. I don't think I'm going to like Yellow Eyes, but I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see. Probably going to go with like Green Eyes. Just because I think those are going to look better, but let's just pop them in there for now. I don't know. He's got such like a heavy brow that I don't know if it's gonna matter, but we're gonna give it a shot anyway. As always, guys, let me know what you're working on. Again, we're painting up some Sons of Behemoth. As you can see, I'm using some other models to be part of this army. I'm not using just standard GW models. I do have one of the other GW like Mega Gargans that I've painted. But this is the Kings of War giant model, which I'm a huge fan of. So if you've never seen this model in action, I'm a huge fan of it. I love it. I'm gonna let it dry for a sec. Of course, I think I just screwed this up. This is gonna look horrible now because I'm an idiot. I'm gonna have to. I know what I'm gonna have to do with this, and it's gonna look. Why did I do this? I should have just left it. Why did I do this? This looks so bad. Unless, did I not use this? This is where let me just get all this off. Hold on. Alright, this is bad. Just getting all that off because it looks horrible. I don't know. Today I feel like everything is out of place. I don't think I used Gilliman, did I? But I had to have used Gilliman. Do that. What the hell did I... Alright, hold on. Alright, maybe it's because I used a lot more. That's probably what I did. Now he looks horrible. Alright, I know what I'm going to have to do. I know exactly what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to get the Gilliman on there, and then I'm going to have to do like, oh my god, this is going to suck. Basically, I'm going to have to get Gilliman on there, and then I'm going to have to use a flesh tone to conceal that. Because it's too white now. Because what happened... looks so bad now. It's my fault. Well, what I don't want to do is what's about to happen, which is... I don't want to keep putting the... I don't want to keep putting the Gilliman on because it's going to look really freaking dark. So now what I'm going to have to do... is I'm going to have to use, where is it? There it is. I'm going to have to use this Rexar flesh to, this is what I should have used in the first place to even that out. Yeah. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to blend it. And we're going to blend it into the back. And basically use this as a little blending color. To get my color back that this took away. Yeah, so we're gonna use this to blend onto this. Yep. Say it's always good when you can match colors. So what I'm doing is I'm just blending this down. And then this will prove as the base. And I'm going to use this to help me. So we're just going to blend this in. Yep, and now we're going to have a much better looking giant. There we go. Now I saved it. There we go. So, in retrospect, probably should have started with this first. I'm going to have to retone all of this now, but at least it doesn't look like crap anymore. Now, this is going to look a little brighter than the other stuff because it's going to be a little bit more of a highlight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take some of this and start to I'm just doing like a what's the word? I'm patting it with the brush. Yeah, so now it looks, I'm going to let it dry, but then I'm going to come in with the heavier tone and it'll look like brand new, like nothing was wrong. In fact, I might even do this on the bigger giant. I'm just trying out some stuff. Yeah, so you kind of like put it on and then you take it off, and sometimes that can create some really fun effects, but for right now, I don't need to really do that. It was more to fix the other giant, because I was like, okay, great, now I completely screwed him up. It's interesting. It's like some of it was primed well, some of it not. So I gotta kind of like figure out. Because I swear when I originally I did prime this. Because it does look like it's like it does look like it's taking the paint, but I think I just did it with the gray sear instead of like the regular Cortex. So I keep like I think I'm gonna have to do my trick where I have to work with it, because I don't feel like I'm getting the right. He also just has like I do think I'm gonna have to do a little bit of like painting surgery on him. I'm gonna have to work with him a lot. It's not gonna be a 2-second kind of paint. He's definitely gonna take me a minute, because I'm gonna have to I mean, it doesn't look bad. But I'm noticing a couple of things about the model that definitely make him a little bit more unique to paint than I thought he was going to be. You know, normally I kind of praise their creature stuff, but I do find it to be a little bit hard to get started here. But like It's not a bad model by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that I'm just like trying to give it a little bit more life, just to kind of see what happens when you do that. And I'm doing a lot of like different experimenting just to kind of see. Just like kind of trying to play with some stuff. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay, so the null oil did add a little bit of depth to it. I was right that that was going to do that. Trying to bring more expression into the face. Just like kind of trying to see if I try to do some of my typical tricks. See if any of them work, or is it just like too much and it makes it all like so like this trick where we take the null oil, kind of reintroduce it to the hair. You know, what does that do? Does it make it... He's definitely got like a weird like I feel like it doesn't play the same way that it normally does. Because I feel like when I normally do this, I get a very different result with the null oil, and I don't think I'm getting it. He's got a little bit of a smoothness to him, I'm noticing. Also, which is... like trying to play. I think it actually does look good. I don't think it looks bad. It's just that, and I have this problem when you're like so used to when you're so used to one model company and their models, when you're like looking at a different one, I don't know, I find myself sometimes like going like, am I looking like well at this? I mean, it looks pretty good. I actually do like the way that it's coming out. It's the scheme is working very well. So I like the I keep knocking the other giant over. It's like really, it's getting comical at this point. Yeah, see now, if you guys look, man, that was a good solid fix. Yeah, this is gonna look awesome. He's got a very different look to him. The giant looks good, so I'm happy with the Mega Gargant too. But yeah, you guys can see, look at how wonderfully nice that looks now. Yeah, so that flesh, I'm gonna use that, but now nice and seamless. We'll get some other shadowing in there, but now it looks nice. It looks like it was meant to be like that, so the blending worked, which is great for our giant. So we fixed him. Now we can just work on this big behemoth guy, which does not look bad. It's just that he does look good. There's just a little bit of touching up I have to do. Gonna bring some of that color back. I like him having the pink hair. I think it looks just awesome. He kind of looks like a giant clown. Ooh, that could be a really cool sub thing if I did Beerus from Dragon Ball. That would actually be a really cool way to do this. So use his like color scheme. That would actually be kind of cool. Where are we at sitting wise? Oh wow, we've already been on for like 2 hours. Okay. I know, I've been like really quiet. I feel like I've been quieter on this stream than I normally am. But sometimes I get quieter, especially when I'm trying to like figure stuff out, and I feel like I had 2 emergencies in this video, so it was like I had to kind of figure those out. But and I know for him it's going to be a lot of just like the same paint. Not that I'm trying to simplify his paint job, but I'm definitely trying to build a simple like color scheme and then add to it. Because I kind of do like the idea of not all the giants being different in color, but like them having unique characteristics to each of them. That's been kind of the thing that I've been really I might introduce a few more colors into this pelt stuff, but for now I just want to do like just a basic gray tone, just to give me some gray undertone. But I will say that I'm probably going to have to hit the hay in a minute. So, for anybody watching us, if you like what you saw and want to see where this giant army is going, consider following the channel. Consider signing up for notifications so you know when we're live. All that good stuff. I'm going to finish this back cape, and then I'm going to let a lot of this dry, and then we're going to call it for the night. Just as a reminder, tomorrow we're gonna work more on our custom Ork Marines. That's what we're gonna work on for tomorrow's show. And then we're definitely gonna have, but I think I'm gonna save that for the end of the week. We're gonna definitely have some more Lorcana. hopefully, all signs point to yes, I will be able to get my hands on more, so we can keep riding that Lorcana train. I'm bummed that we didn't get any enchanted rares, which is their version of secret rares, or full art variant rares, which is what they have. We did get legendaries in our polls. That was cool. All right, so for the beginning of him, I'm liking it. I think we're gonna do something different for the eyes, but so far so good. I like the hair. I like everything that's going on. I'm gonna have to work on some face details, but we definitely have like the beginnings of a good paint job. We just got to keep pushing it further and further. Let's make sure all of this is closed. That's new. Never dropped the null oil before. Okay. First for everything. Clean that up. Taking it on me? No. I did get it on that. And I did, of course, get it on my rug. To say, in retrospect, guys, if you're going to have a painting studio, don't put a rug there. Put something rubber and washable on the floor. That's insane. All right, I think. All right, that was crazy. I never would have thought in a million years I would have dropped that. Okay. Well, I like where our Gigantes have gotten. Let me get my other Gigante. So, I think we did an amazingly good job on him. I know I only did like 3 or 4 things on him and then I switched, but this was a big deal. We really got this all solved up. So this looks so much more uniform. We were working on the stitching, which was really great. Actually, looks like I missed some stitching, but we're just gonna keep pushing him. We do have to tidy him up a little bit, but I do like the way that this came out. He's looking so super good. Just a lot of little details, but we'll get those final details done on him. And then the big ticket right here, the other Gargant that I have for this army, the Mantic model. We started working out our paint scheme. I really like already the visceral, guttural kind of view he has. I'm probably gonna do his eyes. Actually, let's just do it now. I want to change his eyes to, I think, like a green. Yeah. I don't know why, but I feel like the green is going to pop more. Let's see if I'm right. I'm an idiot. I just took off. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get this green in there. Yeah. And then what I can do is we can play. Yeah, baby. Yeah, that green looks dope. Yeah, the green was the right move. It looks so good. It looks so good. When you look at his eyes now, the green looks so much better. Because he just looks angry and like... Oh, that could have been cool. I could do him as a Hulk. Oh, what if I did him as a Hulk giant? Oh, that would be cool. I didn't paint enough of him yet, so I could change it. Oh, my brain is thinking Hulk. Although I do like the way he's starting to paint. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe we do a Hulk giant? I'm kind of liking the Hulk giant idea. I mean, he's looking great just as a giant. Like, it looks... The paint looks good. Alright, I think I'm going to hold off, like, doing the, like, going nuts with pre-priming. I think I did prime it. I think I just primed it in Gray Seer Gray, the Gray Seer. So my brain is just saying, like, it's not. But usually when you see that, like, absorbing stuff, it means it's not, so... But I'm loving him painted. He looks awesome. So, again, guys, thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider following the channel and signing up for notifications. We'll be back tomorrow for custom orc stuff. And then Thursday is our 40K night. We're going to paint Tyranids on Thursday, so check that out. And we're going to have more videos as we get through the weekend. So please check us out, see what we're all about, and also check out the About page, and I'm going to be throwing up some more stuff on the Patreon as well. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you very, very soon, tomorrow or later today if you think that way. And we'll be doing more. Oh, excuse me.